In this vlog, we are going to see how to push code to the GitHub repository using token. So we need to create a personal token in GitHub console, and by making use of that particular token, we need to push our existing Android or Flutter code to GitHub repository. And almost it is similar to whatever the platform you are making use of. Here we are trying to push an Android project code, and the same is applicable when you are trying to push a Flutter, React or iOS code as well. So now we are trying to see two ways through which we can push the code from Android Studio. So here you can see this is the another project I've just opened to show you how the option will appear here. When you tap on enable version control integration here, it will ask you to select version control system here. So I'm going to select the basic default Git here. So by default Git is selected, so I'm just going to continue with it because I require Git itself. So when you tap on OK here, you can see all the files are now turned into red color now. It indicates that these files are not yet committed. So you need to commit your entire project repository initially when you are trying to push your code. Later on, whenever you are trying to push the changes which you have made in the code, then only that particular file you need to commit, and remaining files will be in green color. So let's try to go to the project folder here and tap and right click here. So here in the Git you are having an option like commit directory. So I'm going to commit the entire directory now for the first time, and here I'm going to specify it like initial commit. Okay, so this is a basic message which you provide for each commit, and when you commit for the next time, like for a particular file you are going to make some changes, just try to specify those changes here so that you can recognize what changes you have done in a particular commit. So when you tap on commit here, it will ask you to select the files, which I have done in this particular project here. So here I have selected all my files, and when you tap on amend here, you can see these are all the files which are going in my initial commit. Okay, so now let's try to. So now our initial commit is ready, and when you want to push these particular changes, go to the Git option again, and here this time you are not having enable version control because we have already enabled our version control, and these are all the options which you are able to see once you enable version control to your project. So this particular button indicates like you need to update your project from the repository. So it will take a pull of the existing code in the repository, and this particular button will commit your code, and this particular button will push your code. So initially you need to take a pull here by tapping on this particular button, then by committing your existing code you need to push the code to the repository so that the other developer can fetch the code on his system and work upon it. So again there are two ways. This is the first way which I have shown you by making use of the IDE options. But when you go to the GitHub console, so when you go to the GitHub console here, these are all my projects, and this is a very newly created project here, and all the steps are provided here for you. So for the beginners, I suggest you to follow these particular commands here. So this is the basic command like git init. So just we have tapped on enable version control right in the beginning of this tutorial. So this will take care of that particular process. It will instantiate git on your project, and then if you require a readme file, you can just add this particular readme file, and this is your initial commit. So here we have made the commit, right? So this is a command line interface for creating your first commit, and again this message you can just alter according to your requirement. And here git branch main branch, so we are going to push our code to the main branch. As we are creating a new repository, then the code will be pushed to the main branch itself, and later on you can create branches in your code depending upon the features you are working upon. And if you want to make a separate branches, So just let me know in the comment section below. I will try to make a separate tutorial on how to create branches and how to push your code onto those branches, and from there how to merge those branches in your main repository. And here is the option to add origin here. So yes, everything we have done, we have initialized the Git here, we have committed our entire code, and we have also provided the commit message, and also we have selected the branch to which we want to push our code. But where this code should be targeted, so there should be a place where the code should be committed or pushed, right? So there should be a place where our code exists, right? So this is the link here, github.com/, this is our username and this is our repository name here. So we need to specify path exactly here. You can just copy out here and add in your origin. So where you need to exactly add is like, when you tap on push here, you can see it is showing origin for me here. So you can just remote, you can define a remote here. You can just paste the URL which you have got from the GitHub console in the URL section here and tap on OK. So for the first time when you try to tap on OK here, it will try to provide you a console from where you should authenticate your GitHub account here. So you need to log in through your GitHub account such that Android Studio will recognize your GitHub account and will push your code to that particular URL. And finally, we need to execute the push command. And these are all the steps when you are trying to push a code to the existing repository. That is, once we are done with this particular process here, our repository is created in GitHub, and the next day when you want to create some more functionalities in your application and you want to push the code again to the GitHub, then you need to make use of this particular commands. So by default we have added origin here, so no need to add origin again. Just you need to commit the folder, you need to commit the file, and then you need to push the file to the GitHub repository. So this is the process. And now today in this particular tutorial we are going to see how to create a token and make use of this particular token to push the code here. So whenever we go back to our IDE here and try to push this particular code, it is asking us to log into GitHub to continue. So they have provided us two options here. The first option is using token and the second option is login via GitHub. So in this particular tutorial we are going to make use of a token here, and we need to generate this particular token. So to generate this particular token here, just tap on the generate button there. So here just tap on this particular generate button and you are directly redirected to this particular page. Or else if you want to go to this particular page, just tap on settings here, and in the settings here you need to go to the developer settings, and in the developer settings tap on the personal access token and tap on tokens classic here. So as we have tapped on generate button from Android Studio, we are directly redirected to this particular page, and here you can see we have got few options now. So we are going to create a new personal access token here, and for which we have specified, like, with the help of this particular token what we are going to do. So it's clearly specified here what this token is for. So I'm just going to rename it and specify my project name here like maths table. So this is my project in Google Play Store, and here it is also asking us like expiration. So what is the expiration date for this particular token which you are going to create? So I'm just specifying it like no expiration, because I don't want any expiration date for this particular project here. And if you want to specify some expiration date exactly, you can just specify it here out of all the available options like 7 days, 30 days and up to 90 days. And also it is having a custom option here, so you can just specify few years even here. So you can just select 1 year here, so you can just select 1 year down the line from this particular date here. So you can just select December 2023, and also date you can just specify like 27th December. So if you see this particular calendar here, it is not allowing you to select 28, 29, 30. So the last date which you can select is 27th, because today is 27 December 2022. So it is exactly giving you 1 year. So 1 year is the last expiration date which you can select, but I just want to select no expiration because I don't want it to be like 1 year. And here these are all the scopes which it is providing for you. Scopes define the access for your personal token. So with the help of this particular token, what are all the things you want to perform on this particular repository here? So I want write access here. Here I want to have this particular user access that. So these are the two options which I'm going to select. By default gist is selected for me, and also workflow. So yes, these are all the required things for me, and now I'm trying to tap on generate token here, and this is my token now, and I'm going to copy this particular token and try to paste it over here, and I'm typing on login now. So here you can see my code is getting pushed here. So you can clearly observe that our code is now moving to GitHub from our Android Studio. And again, this will be the same procedure when you are making use of any particular ID. And now let us try to go to our repository, and here you can see our code is now available in our GitHub account. Okay, so this is the way like how you can create a token and make use of this particular token and try to push your code. Also we have not made use of the command line here to upload our code, but again, as I have explained you in this particular tutorial, that is the very simple. You can just follow those commands here, and even for the beginners, just try to copy and paste those commands, but try to understand what you are trying to do with that particular command. So next time, taking help of the particular GitHub page, you can just try to commit your code and push your code to the your repository. And also here I have created a private repository here. So in GitHub you are having an option to create a public and private repository, and I think you are aware of how to create a repository in GitHub. So I have not created a repository in this particular tutorial, but yes, just let me know in the comment section below. I will try to cover even those topics if you are having any queries. So here you can see we have got private mentioned here, and you can also change this particular repository to public if you want from the settings option here. So yes, this is it for this particular tutorial on how to push your code to GitHub repository. And in coming tutorials, we are going to see more information on GitHub, like how to create branches and how to create tags here. And your branches will be appearing here, and also tags will be appearing here, and you can search this particular branch. And also there is a separate option like you can make use of GitHub desktop here. So this is a particular software provided by GitHub, so by making use of which you can try to push your code from the folder itself directly. So there you don't need any IDE or any particular programming level knowledge. Here you can just install that particular software, try to push your code to GitHub repository. And for that particular tutorial, just let me know in the comment section below. I will try to do a tutorial on GitHub desktop and how to configure it. So yes, this is it for this particular tutorial. Do like, share and subscribe to our channel for more interesting content.